It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out the RCWR show. A very well-rested Lee Sanders back with you guys. I'm back on the saddle again. Great to be back with you guys. We pretty much took a mini vacation after last Monday night's Raw post show, and that pretty much was it. Unless you had joined me on the 401mania.com site last Friday night, because I did do live Rampage coverage for the site and everything. And shout out to those of you that maybe had stopped on by, dropped a comment in the comment section and all that. But I mean, other than that, as far as shows goes, I didn't do any shows past Monday because that's our traditional, it's a yearly tradition. After we get done covering that whole week of WrestleMania, we pretty much ride it on now until the Raw after WrestleMania. And then usually I like to take the rest of the week off just to kick back, relax, and everything. I enjoyed it. It wasn't all rest and relaxation. I pretty much was working my jobs and was working school. Actually, I had a couple of projects due for school. So, because it's basically, we've got our midterm grades now, and I'm doing good in all of the classes, but there was some homework that honestly I needed to sit down and really be able to focus my attention on it and everything. So it was nice just being able to take that whole week to kick back, catch up on that much needed rest and everything. I hope you guys have been doing pretty good. I have been all right otherwise, although I gotta say the pollen over here has been kicking my ass. We have pretty much been having up and down weather over here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. 1 minute it is just cold, ice cold. We're dealing with some somewhat frigid temperatures right now. It's not a good time to have the plants outside, but 1 minute it's cold, windy. Then we're dealing with shit ton of rain, and then next thing it's nice, sunny, pleasantly warm, good day to have a barbecue. We've just been dealing with all kinds of craziness. You're checking out episode number 1017 of the RCWR show, loaded up episode that we got for you guys tonight. On this episode, of course, we're going to talk about some key points from this week's WWE Raw now that it's in the books. But yeah, honestly, since WrestleMania, it's been relatively a little bit quiet. Of course, you got a lot of speculation going on there about Vince McMahon. What's going on with him? Is he back in charge? Is he back in charge of creative again? What's going on with some of the people that Triple H hired? Is there a freeze on new hires? The current people that have already been signed by Triple H, since he did have the rings for a little bit, what's going on with them? Are they going to eventually be seen on television? AEW news, Tony Khan taking AEW to Wembley Stadium, just all kinds of nice stuff that's gone on since last we were on the air with you guys. So, look, but we are going to try to do our best to have a bit of a short show because, there's a little couple of driplets of some news out there. Definitely some scandalizing, just finger licking, ooh, what's going on here, that we could definitely get into. But kick on back, enjoy yourselves. Again, great to be back with you guys. So, look, let's talk about Raw. We don't need to put a poll out. I'll poll you guys next week on that. But I mean, Raw for this week. You know, I can't help but pay attention to some of those reports that was floating around out there from the Meltzers and Saps that were saying Vince McMahon was not in attendance. He was not physically backstage at tonight's WWE Raw, but apparently he was doing some things remotely. There were a couple of changes, a couple of rewrites / revisions with the script for tonight's show. As far as how many revisions tonight's show had went through, that remains to be seen. I'm sure we'll know a lot more going into Tuesday afternoon, way before Tuesday evening, without a shadow of doubt. But tonight, I don't know. That Cody Rhodes, as far as things that stood out to me tonight, Cody Rhodes still having the rock star ovation post WrestleMania. The crowd is still loving them some Cody Rhodes. They are fully embracing this man. They want him to be that flag bearer for the company. And anybody that would have you believe otherwise, as far as the reactions that Cody has been getting, because there's some naysayers out there. There are people, look, let's be honest, there are people out there that are banking and hoping that Cody Rhodes miserably fails in WWE because he left AEW. Plain and simple. No way to cut around it, no way to beat around the bush. It's just plain and simple. There are people that just want him to fail miserably in WWE. And the fact that the opposite is happening, it has these fans livid right now. Weird, isn't it? Because if you're a fan of a particular wrestler, no different than if you're a fan of a particular actor, you're going to always follow their work. You're going to see, what they're up to and everything, and support them no matter what. I mean, unless they get involved in some really jacked up controversy that just has you go, yeah, dog, I don't know if I could be a supporter right now. I don't think I should be advertising. I'm a fan of your work right now, because this stuff that you're involved in, yeah, let me just look at you from afar, and you just pretty much keep it moving along and everything. But Cody Rhodes, for all intents and purposes, he is still going out there crushing it on the microphone. Hey, I was very curious to see, after what had went down last week with Brock Lesnar just decimating his ass and everything, and we're looking at that collectively as a wrestling audience, and we're letting out this big old groan, this big old sigh, because we couldn't predict this. We couldn't predict it. We did not see this coming. So how could this happen? But most importantly, okay, how are we going to spin this in such a positive way? Remember what I said last week on episode 1015 of the RCWR show? I said to you guys, and I've been very consistent with this going weeks back, even when I was offering predictions and everything. I kept saying, let Cody chase after Roman Reigns, continue chasing him. If you maybe want to definitely pull the trigger at SummerSlam, you could go ahead and do so. Although some of you guys are going, hell, Lee, look at some of these other milestones that Roman Reigns will soon be accomplishing if he's able to hold on to the title just a little bit longer. And I don't think I have the screen capture that I had saw from the other day, but somebody had did some research, and they were talking about how many days until he passes one of Pedro Morales' reigns, and then another one had to do with Bruno Sammartino, not the Bruno Sammartino reign, because remember, Bruno Sammartino had 2 reigns as champion that were very lengthy, and if I remember correctly, one of those reigns, basically the person that did their research was saying there's about maybe 4-5 milestones between now and next year's WrestleMania that Roman Reigns could accomplish if the titles stay on him. And you're looking at this and you're going, yeah, he'll definitely get that one this year, right? Okay, sure. Yeah, okay, I can see that one.
But there was one that threw me off, and I'm going, because I think it was a bit past SummerSlam that had me go, surely WWE wouldn't even entertain keeping the titles on Roman Reigns that long, would they? I mean, is it even remotely possible that they could go that long? And of course, you're looking at next year's WrestleMania, City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, and you had some people, some conspiracy theorists saying Cody won't get the belt until then. That's when he'll finally become champion. It'll go down there because, that's officially the Rocky story. Everything's gonna really come full circle there. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm going, I don't for the love of me see that. I would like for you guys to help me see that, but I just don't see that happening. But you're taking all of that into consideration, right? You're seeing the vicious attack with Brock Lesnar, and I was among the first in the podcasting world to say to you guys, WWE is just taking the scenic route with Cody Rhodes and that championship. He's gonna get there eventually. Just give it some time. Look, we know what the guy's done on the independents. We know what the guy has done with ROH and briefly there with Impact. We know what he did as the EVP there with AEW and everything, but ain't nothing wrong with adding a couple of additional notches under his belt now that he's back in the WWE, as far as him defeating some main caliber talent and everything, contrary to how some people may feel, right? I'm all fine for it, especially if you're doing a scenic route. So as long as the ultimate destination, you're pulling the trigger at SummerSlam. If you're not pulling the trigger at SummerSlam, then I don't know about you guys, but then me personally, I'm having legit concerns and going, okay, tread lightly here, because we could be going into some Lugerism territory. Lex Luger for you guys, Lugerism territory. So gotta be careful here. So of course, if you watch SmackDown this past Friday, one of the answers was why Brock, why? And they went to Paul Heyman. Caleb Braxton did have an interview with Heyman saying straight up, hey, you used to be the advocate for the Beast Incarnate. You have been with him or were with him for many years now. Explain to us what's going on with his mindset, why potentially, he did what he did and everything. And it was Heyman that pretty much actually Wade Barrett. Yeah, if I remember it correctly, you guys can jog my memory in the chat. I believe it was a combination of Wade Barrett, mainly Wade Barrett, but Barrett and Heyman. Wade Barrett really coming into mind because he was actually the first to speculate on why Brock Lesnar did what he did to Cody Rhodes. Basically, not happy with his WrestleMania spot, not happy with the fact that he had to open up WrestleMania weekend with Omos. That pretty much rubbed him the wrong way. You're hearing that and you're going, yeah, dog, I'm not feeling that. That's a bunch of flying monkey, you know what? We got to try for something a little stronger than that, because, yeah, that ain't gonna fly. So you're pretty much riding that going into tonight's Raw, and I like the fact that Cody echoed those speculations that was being put out there and everything, and even Cody is a little bit baffled at that idea. All things considered, it's WrestleMania. You're wrestling WrestleMania weekend. Nothing else should really get your mojo down and all of that, essentially, right? Everything should be good to go, essentially. So I like seeing Cody Rhodes out there talking and just the way that the writers were trying to turn this bad thing between Cody and Brock into a good thing. Because let's be honest, you, me, everybody else, okay, if you're going to go the Brock Lesnar route, we already threw some ideas out there last week about, you could have easily spun this a different way, but okay, we're in the here and now. This is how Cody is dealing with the Brock Lesnar situation. Okay, fine. Cody saying that Brock Lesnar has accomplished so much in his career. multi-time world heavyweight champion. I loved how he even briefly mentioned but cut himself off when he mentioned Brock Lesnar being a UFC heavyweight champion. I don't know why Cody Rhodes stopped himself mid-sentence there, because he pretty much said UFC champion, and then he just abruptly abandoned that thought and just stuck to wrestling. I couldn't help but, and I actually said out loud to the TV, not yelling at the TV, but I said out loud, Cody, dog, it's okay. You can mention Brock Lesnar UFC. You can mention that because UFC, WWE, they're now under one umbrella. It's okay to go there, man. Seriously. But besides that little flub right there, that little kink in the armor of his promo there, because it wasn't like he stumbled across his words there. It was just kind of a matter of, as you were watching him in real time, Cody just came off as if, ooh, I don't really think I should be mentioning that, and just the way he was quickly able to adapt and everything. But I didn't. Did you guys have a problem with him mentioning Brock Lesnar as a UFC heavyweight champion? I know for some, it kind of goes, Brock's rise, yes, it was pretty impactful. It was, whoa, it did turn heads early on, but we can all be in agreement that we're watching the majority of his fights in the UFC. Once he got hit with, what was it he got hit with? Health-wise, because it almost killed his ass. He pretty much was never the same after that, okay? But before, oh man, Brock was just killing it left and right, man, seriously. So I like Cody Rhodes, babyface that he is, acknowledging all the accomplishments that Brock Lesnar obtained in his career, even mentioning the NCAA, championship, that he won, pro wrestling, professional wrestling, the real legit straight up professional wrestling and all that. Loved all of that was mentioned, and him basically coming to the conclusion that Brock Lesnar is looking at him as his next victim, just as Brock Lesnar looked at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson so many years ago, and a couple of other legends that Cody had mentioned, future legends that Cody mentioned. So all of that was nice, as Cody pretty much put the challenge out there as he drew his line in the sand tonight. Brock Lesnar, you, me, one-on-one, WrestleMania Backlash, let's go. Good stuff right there. Of course, no Brock Lesnar in the house tonight. However, Brock Lesnar will be back next Monday night on Raw to respond to Cody Rhodes' challenge. Without a doubt, it's going to be accepted. But hey, look, I love the fact that we've got that carrot being dangled at us. As I always like to say, what's that incentive for watching the show next week? Okay, well, here you go. Brock is going to come out, and we pretty much know he's going to accept the challenge, but then we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and hear from Brock himself as far as why he did what he did to Cody Rhodes and everything. Is this him? In the words of Cody Rhodes, what Brock did to him last week was that Brock testing Cody. Does Brock maybe not believe the hype? And he wants to see for himself if, we'll know in 7 days when Brock Lesnar is in the house. I think Raw is going to be in Arkansas next week. I might have heard that wrong, but I believe they're going to be in Arkansas next week. So we'll know. We'll know about that for certain. Of course, a lot of us were also questioning what was going on there with the status of Bayley after she put out a cryptic tweet there on social media that had us under the impression maybe she was going on hiatus of some sort. And look, we didn't see her on Raw last week. No reference to her at all or anything. Well, this week she's there in the flesh. We see her, EL Sky, Dakota Kai, in a backstage segment as Bayley comes from Adam Pearce's office, and she's pretty stoked because she's got herself an opportunity to potentially go on to be a #1 contender to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. All she has to do is just win a triple threat match against Piper Niven and Mia Yim. This did not make Dakota Kai and EO Sky happy at all. They actually had disgruntled looks on their face. sucking teeth and all, as Io Sky was the first speaking in her native tongue. Basically, she ain't liking that. Dakota Kai kind of echoing those same words there. So what is Bayley to do to try and make things right? Basically, the translation here from Kai and Sky was, yo, you're always getting some type of an opportunity at the Raw Women's Championship. You always get a shot. What about us? When are we going to get a turn? How about you let us go for a change? That pretty much was their message collectively. So I love the fact right here, and hopefully, people really read in between the lines of this, is the fact that seeds are already being planted here of dissension among the damage control ranks, that there's trouble in paradise that's brewing here. The only question is, who is going to be done with this? Who is going to ultimately say, you know what, F this, I'm better than this, I deserve more than this, I'm gonna get better than this. So sayonara, who's it gonna be? And no, I'm not saying sayonara because Io Sky, no, it just flowed, okay? Just train of thought. Makes you wonder when it's all said and done. It makes you wonder there. So the fact that you had them act the way that they did, combine that with the fact that Bayley had revealed in the same conversation there that she was all excited about her title shot opportunity until she went back and spoke to Adam Pearce to see which one of the girls could replace her instead. She also had said that in regards to the upcoming WWE draft. Yeah, how about that, Hung? I don't know about you guys. I'm not that excited about the draft this year. I just am not. I was with you guys. I watched SmackDown because I was very curious about the announcement there by Triple H. What else was he going to say? I know some people were looking at that going, is he going to address his future? What exactly is going on here? And to just hear the announcement about there being a WWE draft in the near future. The only way I could really be excited about a WWE draft is, hey, without a shadow of doubt, Vince McMahon, he's not going to have anything to do with the draft. He's not going to have any say whatsoever on who goes where. He's not going to be influential in any type of way. He's not going to be undermining. It's just pretty much, yeah, pal, this is your baby. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. I'm just going to be here cheering you on, going rah, rah, and honestly just give advice, give some feedback when absolutely needed, right? I'm just not excited. I hope the draft exceeds all of our expectations. Hopefully you're kind of feeling the same way I am. And to that, I say I hope the draft exceeds my expectations. I hope the draft exceeds your expectations. Because, right now it's just kind of one of those, God damn, a draft that feels so hollowed. Don't it? Like, you hear that, you're like, I don't really have a reason to be that excited for a draft this year. And trust me, once they announce the official date of the draft, we'll definitely sit down. We'll do a mock version of the show here. We'll dedicate a mock version of the show in a segment where we'll do some draft picks and all that. Usually we like doing that, so we'll get into that. But Bayley revealing that no matter what happens with the draft, she did stress the importance to Adam Pearce about them being together. They are as one. I don't really know if Dakota Kai and Io Sky are really down for that as well. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward a little bit. No, we're kind of going a little bit out of order, but that did ultimately set up the triple threat match. Taking Bayley's place would be none other than Io Sky. And Io Sky was actually the one to come out of that as victorious. So she is going to be going on, it looks like, to have a future match against the Raw Women's Champion there in Bianca Belair, as Dakota Kai embraced Io celebrating in euphoria. Bayley looked on kind of perplexed, maybe a little bit disappointed, you could say. So, very interesting what we got going on here that's brewing. And optics-wise, right now, you're under the impression that, this isn't what Bayley wanted. She's just doing this to try to stay face. But at the same time, Damage Control, this is her group. She's the voice. She's the leader. She has final say. Yada, yada, yada. But it seems as though Dakota and Io, they're getting a little bit restless. They're starting to get a little bit antsy. They have presence as well. Thus, since they are of substance, they are of meaning, their opinion matters as well, does it not? So I like what's going on here, and it just makes you ultimately wonder, is Bayley gonna turn her backs on those girls first, or is it actually gonna be Dakota and Io that turn on Bayley? Time will tell. Speaking of turns, we heard the rumblings about it for a couple of weeks now, and it finally went down tonight. We got ourselves a heel Trish Stratus. A heel Trish Stratus. And the way that it came, it just felt a little bit rushed for my personal taste. Not sure about you guys, but felt a little bit rushed. So we had things set up in a backstage segment pretty much during the first 30 minutes of Raw, letting us know that some backstage stuff had went down involving Lita as she was viciously attacked by who? Sadly, we don't know. I would suspect that if it wasn't Trish Stratus, maybe if you wanted to make things interesting, maybe you could make some type of an argument. And I really hope WWE is thinking this way. But if you really wanted to make things interesting, if it wasn't Trish Stratus that had a hand in getting Lita jumped, even if it wasn't Trish Stratus that physically did the deed, some people that you could throw it back to, and at the same time make them all come up as a nice little entourage of hot vixens, okay? I say, why not do something there with Chelsea Green, Carmella, if she's down. I don't know what's going on with Carmella right now, but why not do something with the two of them and Trish Stratus? Or if you can't get Carmella in there, why not put Sonya Deville? Sonya Deville has really been coming into her own as a character and all that. Definitely has improved a great deal in the ring. I could definitely see her complimenting those other girls very well. But I don't think this was just all on the shoulders of one individual. I definitely feel there's a lot of heads here at play. This is one of those rare instances where I don't even, before anybody says, well, what about Damage Control? I don't even see Damage Control as, no. What's going on, I'm not looking at the two connected in any type of way whatsoever. So, because think about what I just laid out to you guys in regards to Damage Control. So you can definitely scratch them off the top of the list. But if you're able to somehow loop Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, or Chelsea Green and Carmella, or hell, you could do Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, and Carmella with Trish Stratus. Take your pick as far as any combination you want to do. But if you're somehow able to loop all of that back, Trish Stratus rolled into one, chef's kiss, some good storytelling right there, right? So this one definitely intrigues me there. But yeah, Trish Stratus basically going in place of Lita tonight in this tag match against Raquel Gonzalez and Liv Morgan. So you already had Rodriguez and Morgan in storyline prepared for a title defense against Becky and Lita. But now it's going to be against Becky and Trish Stratus. Trish going out there, goddamn, man. Trish Stratus looked so goddamn fine tonight. Oh my God, that girl just, man, she has aged with such grace, man. Good God Almighty. Match itself, fairly decent. Fairly decent. Trish definitely came away more smooth in the ring than Lita did. I know myself and quite a few of you all out there, even fellow colleagues in the podcasting world, were not too critical on Lita, but definitely, hey, it's pretty obvious Lita's got some serious rust going on here. Yeah, she's good for a couple of spots here and there, but damn, even the spots that homegirl is doing, it's pretty rough around the edges. Maybe we should see less of her. But as far as how Trish Stratus had handled herself, whoever is behind the scenes has been helping Trish shake off any ring rust and everything. My girl looked pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. There was a lot working here because you had the titles that were changing hands, and the titles changed hands cleanly in the middle of the ring without any controversy whatsoever. So thus, this made Rodriguez and Morgan in the process look even better in becoming tag team champions. Adding to the fact that it was Trish Stratus that ate the pinfall. It's like, wow, like not only did you win the women's tag titles, but in the process, you were able to get a clean W over a WWE Hall of Famer and Trish Stratus. Wow, so you are basically going 2 for 2 right here and everything. Okay, nice. Action in this match, well-paced. No complaints about this one whatsoever. This was actually one of my favorite matches of the night. I would have to say, as far as the quality level of matches go for this Raw, when I compare it to the Raw after WrestleMania last week, I enjoyed this Raw more so. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed it more so than last week. It almost makes me wish that to a degree this would have been in part, as far as the quality of the matches, this would have been what we would have experienced. And I also have a couple of new call-ups, have some faces, make a few surprises. No, it really would have been nice would have been to see Big E back in the ring, just addressing the WWE universe. That would have been nice. But, hey, it is what it is, for now. So, post-match, Lita, Trish Stratus kind of came off as if they were chewing the fat. It looked like they were kind of going back and forth. Tensions kind of seemed like it was at an all-time high. It almost kind of came off as if, shout out if you know your NBA very well, it almost came off as if you were watching a playoff game, the first game in a playoff series. And basically, the team was not on the same page for that first game. And they are just jawing off at the mouth after that first defeat because they didn't just lose, but they lost by such a huge deficit. They lost by like maybe 60, 75 points or something like that. They got their ass spanked, okay? And you see a couple of the leaders of the team, they're just mouthing off and everything. This is exactly how Trish and Becky Lynch were mouthing off at one another. And it seemed as though Becky was the one that was trying to be the cooler head, actually tried to embrace Trish and try to let bygones be bygones and everything. And when Becky Lynch turned around, she was making her way out the ring. Trish just coming from behind, clubbing the back of Becky, getting on top of her, pounding away, set her up for the chick kick, laid her out, talked some mad trash. Afterwards, rolled out. Byron Saxton and cameras caught up with her, wanted to know what's going on, why did she attack Becky Lynch, and no words were spoken, just rolling right on out there. So think about that. In the span of 7 days, we've now had 2 turns, one from Brock Lesnar and now the other from Trish Stratus. So, look, the storyline for this one, it's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. you play up to the fact that Trish Stratus, now it's time you really go, you don't want to go full glam, not in a Carmella or in a Chelsea Green kind of direction, right? You can tease it, but you don't want to go full blown in that direction because those girls already got their respected gimmick carved into that and everything. But what you do want to do, if you're trying to lay this out writing wise for Trish Stratus, is Trish Stratus, she is a WWE Hall of Famer. She is a respected actress. She is a respected entrepreneur, right? You could just bring up all of her accomplishments into her character and all that, okay? And she decides to come on back out the kindness of her heart, grace the WWE Universe, grace Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch had essentially begged her, for help and all that other shit, right? You can easily circle this back to when it came to the tag team titles. And you could ultimately say that Trish Stratus felt disrespected that she didn't get the first right of refusal, at least, as far as becoming Becky Lynch's tag team partner to go chase after the tag titles. Okay? So you can definitely go that route. And then once Lita is pretty much attacked. Now remember what I said earlier. Once Lita is attacked, but you got to have in the back of your mind, Lita had to been behind that attack. Okay? All right? So you got some interesting moving parts that's going on here, right? Okay? So you can easily go in that direction with Trish Stratus about how she felt ultimately disrespected, right? Some other directions you could go. You could have Trish Stratus simply say and allude to some of those things I had mentioned as far as her post-career, and obviously, every single time she had became a women's champion and all that, you could definitely mention all of that. But you could ultimately have Trish Stratus say something as simple as, she ain't no goddamn babysitter. Simple as that. You can have her say she ain't no goddamn babysitter. And, she didn't come back to basically, hold these girls' hands and all of that. She's all about checks and championships, right? Or you could do a combination of all of those things. But there's definitely enough seeds that have been planted going up to now where you feel as though this is all about me, myself, and I, to quote one of my favorite De La Soul songs, right? So you definitely got enough that's going on there. I can't wait to see the big reveal verbally of what Trish has to say. But keep that Lita thing in the back of your mind. Trish definitely behind what went down there with Lita. Make no mistake about that. So, but a good match for the tag titles there. Nice that, Rodriguez and them were put over. I'm more excited for Rodriguez. I see a huge upside in her, but depending on where the draft, when it happens, where and when it happens, since we were kind of teased a couple of weeks from now, I just can't help but hear that and say, damn, well this sucks, because I don't really want Raquel to be stuck in tag team purgatory. I see more of an upside in her as a solo act, but I don't know. Look, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Maybe something can still happen with that. But yeah. So we had that. Let's see, what else did we have go down tonight? We had some other tag team action that went down on Raw tonight. By the way, if you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, you know what to do. Smash, subscribe, all that good jazz. Definitely do all that. Let's see. So we had Lashley taking on Bronson Reed. We had Alpha Academy taking on the Usos. You know, Alpha Academy taking on the Usos, that actually, because I was just talking about tag matches, that was another tag match for what it was worth. That was fairly entertaining as well. Enjoyed that one. Seemed like a couple of times there, maybe Alpha Academy was going to come away with an upset. I was looking for maybe for there to be some type of interference from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but we had got word that they were not in attendance for tonight's show, you know, not scheduled to be there and all that. So you hear that and you're going, oh, okay, well, I don't really believe that, but if they're not really going to be involved in this match, okay, I guess that's fine. I had no problem with the Usos going over, especially if ultimately you're going to have Otis break away from Chad Gable. And remember what I said earlier, off and on past couple of weeks now, as far as his replacement goes, you got to put in Gable Steveson. You got to put him in there. It just makes all the sense in the world to slide him right in there. I think others are going with Braun Breaker. Nah, I think Gable Steveson is more of the direction to go. I think that's the smarter money right there. Hell of a tag match, though, that I enjoyed here. Usos sounding like a mofo to Gable and Otis. You know, I like the idea of, man, the Usos have just had a really bad week, haven't they? They lost the tag titles at WrestleMania, and now here they are in a primetime tag match here on live television, and damn, just kind of seemed as though this isn't going to be their week, is it? Maybe this isn't even going to be their month as far as April goes. So I like that constant teasing that we had going on in this match, where it kind of seemed as though maybe they were in some serious danger there. And yeah, Alpha Academy, for all intents and purposes, you can look at that tag team and you can still say, they're just comic relief, they're just buffoons at this point, but man, when it counts the most, you know, they're definitely going in there, whether it's as a tag team act or solo act for Chad Gable. You know, Gable's going in there and freaking crushing it. You know, he's freaking crushing it, man. So you can't really hate on that. Heck of a match, though. Definitely had enjoyed that. Good fucking match right there. See what else. Just going with the rest of the card here. Well, we were just teasing Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley there. Let's go to that one. Bobby Lashley, Bronson Reed. That was a double count out, if I remember. Yeah, that was a double count out. It was about a 10-minute match for what it was worth. I liked the match. Just two big, beefy, sweaty men, just freaking two big bulls just going at it, man, trying to see who can hit the other one harder, who's the more dominating one here. I mean, simple freaking blueprint in regards to how this match was laid out and everything. Don't have a problem with this one whatsoever. Another good one that was good. I love all the power stuff that was being done in here by both men. This is exactly how you thought it was going to play out. Very hard hitting, and I'm down for a rematch, and I feel that a rematch is going to be going down. I wouldn't be surprised if a rematch went down a couple of weeks before Backlash. I could definitely see these guys fighting on the Backlash pay-per-view. I still feel that we're on this Bobby Lashley apology tour because our boy Lashley didn't get no love at WrestleMania, so I could definitely see one more match playing out, and then we go right to Backlash. So, yeah, that was good, though. I actually enjoyed that one. I actually enjoyed that one. Bronson Reed's growing on me. I gotta finally admit, he's starting to grow on me there. And I love the fact that the way he has been booked as of late, he's not talking that much. Just enough. Because my whole thing is, when you first look at Bronson Reed, he definitely looks, you know, a bit menacing to a degree. But then when he starts talking, whatever that aura was that he had, it just goes away the longer that he keeps talking. So the fact that they got him keeping it very brief, you definitely want to continue to capitalize on that for young Bronson Reed. So appreciate that. Rey Mysterio opening things up against Finn Balor. That was actually damn good match as well. I love that the LWO was not in the house this go round, which was kind of weird considering, you know, everything that's been playing out these past couple of weeks between Dominic, Rey Mysterio, members of Judgment Day constantly interfering and everything. But you know, for what it was worth, you know, the way that they had did this match, it was a good way to have Rey Mysterio potentially be off of TV for the next week or two as you get closer and closer to Backlash and everything, because post-match they did a serious number on him. Finn Balor did win this match with the coup de grace, but there was constant interference. Wow, my furry little daughter just destroyed her new toy. Rest in peace. It was a cute little cuddly little mini teddy bear. I think it came with some Russell Stover candy. And man, she destroyed the living hell out of it. I see cotton balls everywhere. It's like a massacre of cotton balls that's just all over the floor right now. I will show you guys what she did with this bear. Look at this. Look at this. You guys will not believe this. This bear used to have a head. Oh my God, look at that. Holy crap. This bear did not used to look like this. Holy crap. Look at that. She ripped the eyeballs out and everything, man. She is just fucking savage. That is just ridiculous, man. I keep telling it, no, you destroyed it. You don't get that back. You destroyed it. No refunds. Matter of fact, where are those little small parts anyway? Hang on, guys. Where's the rest of those? Yep, you can give me that one. Yeah, you know what you did. You know what you did. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. Wow. You are an evil puppy. You know that? Evil. You're just evil. You just stay right there. You've done more than enough damage. So, where were we? What were we talking about last there? Lost my train of thought. Yeah. Coup de grace, constant interference there on Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor picking up the W, and then post-match, they just continue to go up to that body on Rey Mysterio and everything. But this was definitely a good way to have Rey Mysterio sell what was done to him, you know, leading to his defeat post-match and everything, but also at the same time continuing to build off of the Dominic Rey Mysterio feud. You know, that's honestly it's been badass the way it's been laid out these past couple of months and everything. So, and look at the way that things are being laid out here. You know, it seems as though it's ultimately going to be a tag match. I would imagine Bad Bunny, Rey Mysterio joining forces to take on Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. That seems to be the suggested direction that they're going in and everything. And then also look at the way that Rey Mysterio was essentially protected here in this loss. It wasn't a clean loss. I want to make sure we don't lose light of that. You know, a lot of interference that was going on here. So the way that was laid out, pretty good for all intents and purposes. Other than that, just trying to think if there's anything else we need to talk about from tonight's Raw. We didn't talk about the main event match, did we? We didn't talk about Kevin Owens taking on Solo Sikoa. That was your main event match. Nice brawl for all intents and purposes. Nice brawl. Owens doing a really good job. You guys are like, Lee, what's going on here? Guy. Owens doing a really good job selling the leg injury, you know, for most of the match and everything. Sikoa God, Sikoa, man, he is just continuing to go in there, just being a fucking beast. I am loving that guy's work, man. Seriously, loving that guy's work. Owens, though, bumping like a mofo, really selling that leg injury. At the same time, continuing on trying to fight, right? But it's just much too much, right? Loved it. I love what was going on here, right? And the way that this was laid out, I love the fact that they made sure that, well, wait a minute here. The first time ever that Solo Sikoa had finally lost a singles match, it was at the hands of Cody Rhodes. And I like the fact that you made sure to make things come back full circle. And, you know, not only did you have Solo involved in a pretty good brawl out here with Kevin Owens, but you also made sure that when it counted the most, Sikoa was the one to go over here. So there was a lot done in a really positive way here tonight with all the necessary parties involved. If I had one little gripe, it would be the fact that post-match you had Usos and Sikoa just stomping a mud hole and friggin' Kevin Owens. And next thing you know, we're looking at the Titantron and we see that Matt Riddle and Sami Zayn, they've arrived at the arena, even though, you know, we were told a couple of times throughout the night, you know, they're not slated to be there. Okay, here they are running. They know what's going on. Apparently they've been watching the show and they are just making a beeline right for the freaking ring. Okay, all right, cool. So they're here, right? Did we really need to hear their music get queued up? Call me a stickler for detail, but I wasn't quite a fan of hearing the music come on, because if I'm beating the crap out of somebody and I hear the music of Sami Zayn or Matt Riddle, I'm not staying in the ring. As soon as I hear it, I'm already hauling ass. I'm going for the nosebleed seats. I'm going for the exit over there. I'm hopping over the guardrail, whatever, and I'm already gone. So, call me a stickler for detail, but I just didn't like that. Like, if they aren't supposed to be there, they continue to play up to the mystique. You shouldn't just conveniently have the music be on cue so you can just, you feel where I'm coming from? So, but other than that, it seems that the way this is going to be laid out, some type of a 6-man tag match. Now, whether or not that's going to play out on television or if that's going to go down on pay-per-view, that remains to be seen. Maybe we'll have more answers be revealed as we go into this Friday's SmackDown, for all intents and purposes. Great night, full of in-ring wrestling action. I'll definitely give it that. More on the quality side than what had went down last week, because last week it was really just a one-match episode of Raw, and that was for a Raw after WrestleMania, right? So good stuff. 3 hours breezed by pretty quick for this week, I would have to say. So that's WWE Raw in the books. All right. Ain't that right, little buddy? That's it for Raw, right? Yeah, that's it. And she's just licking away at my face. I love my little furry daughter. So some other stuff we can get into. We got the card. You want down? Yeah, you can have down. You just can't mess with all of that bloody massacre that's on the floor right now. So we've got the card for this week's AEW Dark Elevation. Looks like it's going to be a pretty solid card for those of you that might be interested in going and checking out the show and everything. This is how it is looking. We've got Kip Sabian, the Butcher, and the Blade going up against Mayo Shuma and Yuki Ueno. Meanwhile, Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir take on the Renegades. Lee Moriarty and Big Bill take on Rex Lawless and Trax. Meanwhile, Dark Order's John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Evil Uno take on Aaron Rourke, Alvin Alvarez, and Brother Greatness. That is the card for this week's AEW Dark Elevation for this week. So check that out if you guys are interested. Congrats to Logan Paul. He has signed a new multi-year deal with WWE. I would imagine if it's not a deal similar to literally what just expired, maybe they got him for a additional year. I'd be a little bit surprised to hear they've got Logan Paul down for 3 years. But it's a very smart move, honestly, with the way that Logan Paul had performed during that rookie year contract and everything with WWE. This was just pretty much a no-brainer, honestly. So it looks like part of this new deal that Logan Paul has signed, he's going to be making even more appearances and everything. I see the pictures that are floating around, and everybody has been having a field day, in case you guys don't know. So you have a picture of Logan Paul from the first initial WWE contract that he signed, and in that picture there's Triple H and there's Stephanie McMahon. And in the new picture, it looks as though Stephanie McMahon has been magically erased with some new Google phone pixel or whatever. Triple H is wearing the same outfit, and you've got Logan Paul's outfit. Somebody decided to go in and do some photoshopping and change the color of the jacket he was wearing, even change the color of the prime bottle that's chilling on the floor. You know, you remember the original flavor that you saw, and yet now, instead of the bottle being blue, now the bottle is yellow. Yet it's the same flavor, clear as day. It has the same name of the flavor. Yeah, I mean, you guys are awesome, man. You guys would make great freaking detectives, or at least be a good complimentary partner there for Columbo. You guys just spotting all the nice details there. I love it. I would imagine somewhere down the road they're gonna get together whenever possible, do the actual real picture and all that for all intents and purposes. But no, I'm happy to see that with Logan Paul. Look, is he a great talker? No. He's not a great talker. He'll get there. You know, he is coming along. You know, he'll ultimately get there. But I mean, make no mistake about it. As far as the in-ring ability, one that is able to adapt so quickly and everything, yeah, you definitely got to give the devil his due. This was a no-brainer. You just had to go on ahead, re-sign the guy. I'm just thinking about the possible matchups we could ultimately see this guy in down the road, from working with a Finn Balor to potentially a Rey Mysterio to Matt Riddle to AJ Styles to working with Randy Orton for sure, you know, doing something with him. LA Knight would be very interesting. I personally feel that would definitely be very interesting. I could even see him, under the right circumstances, doing something with Bobby Lashley. I think that would be a sleeper hit. Of all the stuff that I mentioned, just put a sleeper hit by one particular name. I think a match between him and Bobby Lashley would definitely be a sleeper hit. So definitely looking forward to seeing what happens for him going forward here. So hope you guys are as well. Some good stuff right there. So Post Wrestling, shout out to those guys. They're reporting that the new Vince McMahon biography has debuted at number 14 on the New York Times bestseller list. Remember, this was a book I had tried to tell you guys about a couple of months ago that was coming out real soon. I think it was one of two Vince McMahon books written by two different authors, obviously, but this one I was more interested in, that I had mentioned to you guys a couple of times, by Abraham Reisman. And it seems that those that have the book and they've read it, if not all of it, they have just read a decent amount of the book. The general consensus is, hey, if you are a casual wrestling fan, a casual WWE fan, then you'll find a lot of what is being said in this book, you know, of interest. But, you know, if you're a diehard WWE fan, you pretty much know the ins and outs. You know all things McMahon family. basically this is one that you may want to go ahead and skip. I had asked some of my colleagues if they were going to check out this book, and some of them did say they would. I know Mish from Soup. I know he said he was definitely still gonna check out the book, because when you look up some of the reviews on Amazon, I'm always buying stuff on Amazon, so I'm always looking at the reviews. I usually like to go in. I pay attention to the newest reviews first before I check out just what's everybody saying. I like seeing the most recent reviews. Even the most, sometimes I'll even filter in a way where I'll even want to see the most critical / negative reviews first, and then pretty much kind of go from there and everything. So I'll definitely be checking out that book. I don't know if I'll be getting it this week or if I'll be checking it out next week, but I'm definitely going to be checking it out for you guys. That might still be a little bit on the fence about that one, so I'll definitely give you the 401 on whether or not that's a book you should pass on. And if it really is a case where do you need to be a hardcore, or is this really better suited for that passe of a wrestling fan? Speaking of biographies, apparently there is, brace yourselves for it, there is going to be, hang on a second here, there is going to be another Vince McMahon, another Ric Flair biography. It's like, how many Ric Flair books do you need, man? Seriously, how many Ric Flair books do you need? But there's going to be another Ric Flair biography that's going to be coming out soon. This one is going to be dropping in September. I believe September 12th is when it's going to be dropping. And Tim Hornbaker is going to be behind this one. It's going to be published through ECW Press, and according to Hornbaker, this will be the first book on Flair written by a historian, and he noted that it took him 3 years to write this book. Just as far as footnotes, citations, and all that, there's like about 50 pages of that alone, pretty much in his preparation for this book and everything. So I know, as far as, because I read Ric Flair's book, or God, at this point I'm trying to think which Ric Flair book it was that I read. And you know what, if I were to do a simple, let's go to Amazon right now, and I'm just going to type in Ric Flair book, and let's see what pops up here. I did not check out Ric Flair to Be the Man. Or did I? That cover looks very, I remember something with a white background and Ric Flair. Hang on here. Maybe it was Ric Flair to Be the Man. Maybe it was that one I had read. But you got a Ric Flair to Be the Man. You also got Ric Flair by Marlo Martin. You've got Second Nature, The Legacy of Ric Flair and the Rise of Charlotte Flair. I recommend anybody that hasn't read that yet, definitely check that out. And if you aren't able to get a hardcover, if you don't mind reading a tablet version of that, then go for the tablet version. Let me see here. And it looks like that's it as far as Ric Flair books. So, I mean, well, when did Reed die? Reed Flair died, what? God, it feels like maybe it was 2013. So, he died in 2013. I'm looking at the Reed Flair book by Marlo Martin, which came out in 2016, and it doesn't look like that was well received. Based on 19 reviews, it's got a 3 out of 5. It's holding steady at a 3.1 rating, overall rating. So I don't really know if that's really if where I'm coming from. And then you've got Ric Flair to be the man. It looks like that one came out in 2015. So, my point, I don't know how much more personal and how much more definitive, things are going to be this go round, with this upcoming Ric Flair book. I don't blame anybody that might be a little bit on the fence, checking out this one. I think it's kind of one of those wait and see approaches I'm going to have, quite honestly. So, if I hear enough chatter about this book, mostly positive, then yeah, I would definitely have no problem going out of my way and checking it out. WrestleMania numbers continuing to come in as WWE had freaking crushed it. One thing that was kind of noteworthy is the fact of what's going on with pay-per-view buy rates. Are people still buying wrestling pay-per-views through the traditional outlets, such as through cable and satellite providers? And apparently they are. Rather than pay the $4, $5, $10, $12 with Peacock and get access to the WWE events that way, believe it or not, people, that are still folks out there that are buying straight up wrestling pay-per-views. They're paying that $49, $59, $69, $79.99 in taxes for a pay-per-view event. And it looks like there was, for WrestleMania 39, over 22,700 buys for night one, and then you had 22,900 buys for night two. So apparently this is down when you compare it to last year's WrestleMania, which for night 1 and 2 respectfully did 24,100 and 24,500. Look, that might be slightly down, but in these times, and the fact that you still had people out there that were willing to pay that amount, I mean, let's just go with $65, all right? Let's pull up a calculator real quick here, okay? I'm just saying, because even if that's kind of low by a little bit, what's it, like 2-3% or some shit like that? All right, so let's just round it off after taxes. Let's just say everybody's doing $65 for the pay-per-view, all right? Now, multiply that. What was that number I just said? Let's take that 22,700, right? So take that 22,000 and 700. All right. That gives us, God damn. Hang on here. Let me copy this real quick here. It's got a couple of zeros in here that's throwing me off, so hang on. It's because I've already done the math. All right, so hang on here. So let's put a 0 right there. And then let's come over here. That's not too bad. If I did this right, $14,755. Yeah. That's not too bad. I'm assuming I did that right. Okay, and then what? Night 2 was how much? Let's look at night 2 here. 22,900. All right. So hang on. So you got 22,900. I'm gonna say 60. I think I said $66. 22,900. Okay, so that gives you, that looks like 15,000 and some change. All right, so it looks like $15,114. All right, and then you add both of those together, that gives you $29,869. So you almost did $30,000 in pay-per-view buys, according to this. So I mean, that's not too shabby. it's not too shabby, but obviously your bread and butter is really, in those Peacock subscriptions, obviously, right? I'm most curious to hear how the numbers did for WrestleMania, and we should actually know. All right, so let's see, January, February, March. So the first quarter for WWE 2023, there should be, if it hasn't happened yet, there should be a quarter's earning that's getting ready to go down. We won't know about WrestleMania's numbers. It's possible when they get ready to do the first quarter joint, it's possible they may put out some WWE numbers, but if they don't, we'll definitely know during the quarter 2 earnings for sure. But I mean, that's still pretty damn good for all intents and purposes. That's almost right there. Well, not quite, but it's almost right there with what Tony Khan was saying as far as the subscriptions go for Ring of Honor. Remember that? If you don't remember that, I'll circle back and bring it up on Wednesday's show for you guys. So have no fear on that one. Let's go out on this note. We'll get into this next topic and then we'll preview AEW Dynamite for this Wednesday. But all right, so on a more serious note, a family that I have respected for many, many years now, and that is the Guerrero family. Looks like there is some serious trouble, has been for some years now apparently. There's been some serious trouble in paradise with the Guerrero family and all necessary parties involved. And the last thing that anybody wants to see that truly has a conscience and means well and everything, last thing you want to see is family drama unfold online. In this day and age, we have so many people that live their lives online. They do it because it's just so easy. It's so easy to just grab that phone and tablet and just at the push of a button, whatever your thought is, or you want to go live and you want to put something out there for your followers, whether you're talking for 3 minutes, 10, 30, an hour, whatever. It's just so easy to just, as long as you got yourself internet connection, reliable internet connection, it's so easy to just stay connected to your followers, your base, and get whatever is on your mind off your chest. Plain and simple. So we saw Sherilyn Guerrero to that point, the youngest daughter of the late WWE Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero. She went on social media, I believe it was on TikTok, and she put this video out which had garnered her a lot of hits and everything, where she had talked about a sexual assault incident that had occurred by her stepfather. And this stepfather, I believe he's been married to Vickie Guerrero now since, maybe 2015, 16, 17, somewhere around that time frame. And this assault apparently went down on a cruise. So, when you're doing just a process of elimination, you're rewinding it back, you're going, oh shit, this would have been the first Jericho cruise. Remember, I did the 3-leaf clover Jericho cruise, so apparently your boy really missed fireworks, I guess, right? But I've still heard some things. There are some things I've briefly touched upon, but you talk to me off air, I'll definitely, assuming you ain't gonna say anything. Plus, I gotta know you like that for me to really spill the beans there. But no, apparently this was one of the first Jericho crews. And Sherilyn would say that, besides her stepfather who sexually assaulted her, apparently there was a bunch of men that she had sex with. She's pretty sure that she was raped, and she told Vickie Guerrero what had happened. Her mother, of course. She told her mother what happened, and they had stopped off somewhere in the Bahamas to try to get some Plan B contraception and everything. And you know, you're just hearing this, and you're just going, oh my God, this is so fucking devastating. You know, this is, you know, why are we hearing this? This is so taboo. This is just so goddamn sad. This is just so fucking disturbing. You know, why are we hearing any of this? But, you know, we're hearing this. And, you know, ever since this incident had happened with Sherilyn, according to her, the 27-year-old has not been on speaking terms with her mother, Vickie Guerrero, her sister, Sherilyn Guerrero, who we know is married to Aiden English, wrestler there that was briefly in WWE, was doing color commentating for Impact Wrestling. He was even doing color commentating very, very briefly there for, if it wasn't SmackDown for sure, it was for NXT. Shaw did some in-ring stuff for the WOW, Women of Wrestling promotion a couple of years ago. So I don't know what she's been up to these days. I know she kind of scaled back a little bit on the wrestling appearances and all that, but Sherilyn, you know, revealed that apparently she hasn't been on speaking terms with her mother, her stepfather. You know, obviously that's very understandable, but she also hasn't been on speaking terms with her sister, her older sister, Sherilyn Guerrero. They've pretty much, according to her, have blocked her as far as contacts and all that goes. So the same video, Sherilyn said that she was sexually assaulted on a cruise by her stepfather in 2020. So this definitely would have been before the lockdown. Definitely before the lockdown. So, you know, you're hearing that, and your heart aches when you hear that, right? She said, was I the only one? No. Well, that's not my business to put their story out there, but it happened to me. She claimed that her mother told her that the alleged incident that pretty much went down with her stepdad was a mistake and not who he is. Sherilyn will go on to say that she did not feel protected by her mother and that she has been blocked from communicating with her. All right? Obviously, there's two sides to a story. Obviously. And as I've said on this show for many, many years, you got this side over here, you've got that side over there, you've got in the area there that room for doubt, and then on the other side of that you've got the definitive, here's the absolute truth, and sadly you never really will know what the definitive truth is. But when you have some stuff like this be put out there, if there was ever a time where, okay, we need for an adult to step up here because this is very damaging on so many levels. If there was ever a time for an adult to step up here, not necessarily validate but just, this is a lot to unload, let alone on social media. Vickie Guerrero, 54 years old. All right, 54 years old. She's in her mid-50s. This is what she had to say on Instagram. And since then, she has deactivated her social media accounts. And keep in mind, she put something out the first rodeo and deleted it. You're thinking, oh, well, maybe she just realized, yeah, you really shouldn't be saying this type of stuff online. And no, that wasn't the case at all. Apparently, she deleted the first thing that she put out because she wanted to put even more self-incriminating, damaging stuff as far as how she is handling this whole debacle online. she decided she wanted to put some more WTF stuff out there, which really made her come off looking like an asshole. And if I'm part of that crew that basically, hey, your opinion, fuck you, that she says at the end, which you'll know about in a second. All right, well, I guess I'm on that list. Here's what she said. There are two sides to a story. Over 15 years, my relationship with Sherilyn has been hostile. Now, just stop right there. Sherilyn Guerrero is 27 years old, okay? And you got Vickie Guerrero saying that for the past 15 years, this relationship that I've had with this girl has been hostile. Okay, so if we're saying, okay, are y'all with me? Y'all with me? All right, if you're not with me, stay with me here. Sherilyn is 27 years old. You got Vickie Guerrero saying that for the past 15 years, her youngest daughter has been hostile towards her. Okay? Well, if the girl is 27, do some simple math. 27 minus 15, so this would have put her around fucking 12 years old. Okay? You're looking at when Eddie Guerrero had died. Eddie Guerrero passed away when he was 38 years old, November of 2005. Okay? Of 2005. Now, you go down the family tree. Remember, Eddie Guerrero, he had 3 kids. And that includes Sherilyn and Shaw Guerrero, respectfully. When you're looking at, the years that they were born and everything, let's see. So process of elimination, if it's 2023, actually I got a pen right here. I love doing math on the fly right here, man. Seriously, I love it. So if Eddie Guerrero died in 2008, okay? And we're in 2023 right now, and Sherilyn is 27. Well, obviously, if you go back 10 years, that's going to put Sherilyn at in 2013, that's going to put her at 17 years old, right? And then you got to go 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8. So that would have been 16 in 2012, 15 years old in 2011, 14 in 2010, 13 in the year 2009, and 12 in the year 2008. Of course, the goddamn kid is gonna be hostile. Her fucking father is dead. How naive can you fucking be? How stupid can you fucking be? Now, more than ever, after losing their father, they lost a parent. Now more than ever, they are feeling fractured. They do not feel complete. They are experiencing, probably for the first time ever, directly, mortality. And that life is not, forever. Okay? And the way in which Eddie Guerrero passed, and the fact that she was not able to have one more day with her father. At least have, okay, I know he's gonna, but this time I can say goodbye properly. I can tell him all the things I wanted to tell him, and right? She wasn't afforded that luxury. If there was ever a time for a parent to, hey, I know, honey, his death, it's not just affected you, it's affected the whole family. We all are just really hurting over this. We all are grieving. But now more than ever, as a family, we have to stay together. Now more than ever. We got to rely on one another. We got to be each other's crutches. I need you now more than ever, just as you need me now more than ever. Only together we're really going to be able to get past this. And, not for nothing, but Vickie Guerrero, obviously, just stop and imagine. Imagine saying that for the past 15 years, my child has been hostile. Yeah, your child has been hostile since your goddamn husband died. That is some ice cold shit right there, man. Seriously, that is some ice cold shit. And then, not for nothing, but remember, it wasn't that long after Vickie Guerrero had passed and everything that we started seeing her on WWE television. Obviously she had popped up, what was it, 2005, 6, during the whole Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio feud that was going on and everything. But, and then, but remember after Eddie had passed, if I remember correctly, she had that relationship thing going on with Edge, La Familia. Remember all of that? She had all of that stuff that was going on, right? But to my whole point, she was on the road with WWE so much that even after Eddie had passed, it wasn't like she just disappeared for 2, 3, 4 years trying to take care of home. On the one hand, you could commend Vickie Guerrero and you can say, hey, look, when she really needed to do her part, step up and bring in some type of money, because Eddie was the breadwinner and now she pretty much had to do it all. Unfortunately, the kids had to be, right? Not like she could have brought them on the road with her and all of that. She kind of had to do what she had to do. Not making excuses. Not making any excuses. It's called being an adult. When the times are tough, you got to do what you got to do, make ends meet, right? She did that and then some. But to then turn right back around and try to have the audacity to say that for the past 15 years, my kid has been hostile. Yeah, you've already lost serious brownie points with me on that one, seriously, all right? So that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good whatsoever, all right? Let's keep reading this. Already out the gate, that damaging. All right. Over 15 years, my relationship with Sherilyn has been hostile, and I have tried to deal with a narcissist person. Not only myself, but close friends of Sherilyn of over 10 years and family have cut ties with her because of her manic behaviors. I hope she realizes the critical moment here when things started to go. I'm no therapist, but I've been there, done that. I've lost some good loved ones in my family that really messed with my head for a bit and definitely changed my psyche and the way I went about relationships. So, and I experienced it even younger than what Sherilyn went through here. So yeah, there's a little bit of rebellious and some other stuff that's going on as far as when you exactly pinpoint, you feel where I'm coming from. Anyway, I tried to do therapy with Sherilyn, but she always said no, and that I am sick, not her. Sherilyn, please tell your side of your character of being drunk on the cruise and having guys in your room, then crying because you think you were raped, and then demanded us to go to a pharmacy in the Bahamas for Plan B. You want to play dirty and sling Chris and I through the mud. I have my own pile of mud for you. This is really how we're going to do this? We're really going to go tick for tat? Somebody needs to be the adult here. And so far, It's obviously not 54 going on 55-year-old Vickie Guerrero. Most unfortunate. Are you enjoying the 2 cars that Chris bought you, the 3 apartments you bailed out of, and the 2 surgeries we paid for you? Your lies will catch up, and I feel bad for you. Sherilyn, not once have you spoken to Chris about the situation, but you can go on social media and tell all, but that's how you communicate. Another example of you manipulating and harassing others. I'm going to read this last little bit, and I'll comment further. I am so done with you and tired of the years of your manipulation, lies, and disrespect. I kept quiet for years because you never sought therapy to learn how to have an adult conversation with me. It has always been your way or nothing at all. Okay, Sherilyn, not only will I see you in court, but you and I will no longer be related. God damn. For the fans who feel entitled to comment, fuck you. You hear one side of the story and you feel entitled to comment on something you know nothing about. You're absolutely right about one thing, Vicki. You're absolutely right about one thing. Hearing one side of the story. Hearing one side of the story. Well, we've now been given on a nice silver platter your side of the story. And goddamn, can you come off any more fucking selfish? Way to not, I don't know, your kid comes to you, not only says they were sexually assaulted by a bunch of guys, potentially raped by a bunch of guys on a cruise. Okay, you know what? They got into, this person got intoxicated, they did some drugs, okay. All right. Some of us have at one point been young and reckless. In our teens, going into our early to mid 20s, some of us have been reckless. All right? We're not proud of it, right? But usually, if we mean well and we're trying to become a better person, learn from our mistakes, get past it, with time comes wisdom and experience, right? Right? All about evolution. As long as you're willing to adapt, grow as an individual, you'll get better in due time, right? Just learn from your mistakes. Try not to make sure that happens again, right? So, it's bad enough to hear that this young woman, this girl, went through what she went through. But then, on top of all of that, she was in some form sexually assaulted by her stepdad. And we've got the fucking mother sticking up for her man. That must be some nice, good chunk of dick to be siding with, because there's like a certain line that parents go, yeah, you cross this line, that's it, you're fucking dead. You better be out of my fucking sight before I call the cops, because if they don't get to you before I do, okay? And that line that you don't cross for most people, you don't commit adultery, and you damn sure don't do something with somebody's kid. I don't give a fuck if the kid is legal. It's just, no, you're not, obviously, if you're messing with a minor, oh my God, you're talking about pedophile territory, the whole 9 yards, and you think it's bad in the prison system, and if you've seen your fair share of shows, lockdown and all that other stuff, you know how the shit can be and all that, right? But just picture that, to mess with somebody's kid. No, you don't come back from that. That's my whole point. You don't come back from that. It's like, damn, bad enough you had to cheat on me, but you had to cheat on me with somebody in my immediate family. You had to cheat on me with my fucking kid. usually you don't come back from that. So again, I can't help but go, what the hell is it here that, right, with Vicki? And it's like, what the hell? So you're choosing this guy over your kid. Your kid is now dead to you. Your kid is now dead to you because they basically went online and unloaded on all this stuff that they've been sitting on for years, and obviously there's been no type of a resolution whatsoever. And this is pretty much how you do your own flesh and blood. You punish them for speaking the truth. You know, even if you wanted to respond to this, first of all, there's always a right way to respond to things, okay? Especially if you're trying to set an example. You know, hey folks, I'm very well aware of the comments that my daughter Sherilyn had made on social media, the incident in question that she is talking about. You know, I don't really feel comfortable talking about that. Of all places, I don't feel comfortable talking about that here on social media because this is not the place, and it damn sure is not the time. I ask that you all continue to respect our privacy, even though my daughter is not doing so right now. We ask for privacy. You know, this is a family matter, and this is a family matter that needs to be handled internally. Thank you. You know, something along those lines. But instead, not only does she respond to her daughter's comments, but she responds in such a way where she is coming off as an adolescent in the way that she is responding. You know, oh, you're going to embarrass me like this? You're going to throw my, you know, and what a way to justify being sexually assaulted by your stepdad, by the way. Right? What a way, you know, Vicki, I got to say, sarcastically, wow, just, you know, bravo, because you really just dug yourself a deeper ditch there, right? Let's go back to that part. Are you enjoying the 2 cars that Chris bought you? The 3 apartments you bailed out of? And the 2 surgeries we paid for you? So what? So what, Vicki? This guy fucked your daughter and she needs to forget about it because he and or you got all these nice things for her after that? That doesn't make things kosher. I mean, on the one hand, you can say, hey, that's great. When it counted the most, you stepped up, you helped out your kid. That's great. But see, I got that old school mentality. When I do something to help somebody out, I'm not looking for a fucking pat on the back. I'm not looking for a attaboy. I'm not looking for my name to be sung in praise. I'm not looking for all of that. If I help somebody out, I'm helping somebody out because it's within my means. I can do it, and I want to help. I can't stand two-faced mofos that will take these kind acts of gestures, like what Vicki is mentioning, and turns it around and uses it in a way where they're doing it out of spite, okay? those are like the words. I call those people two-faced, because they are. They will be the first to quickly bring up the fact that, oh, well, you didn't have anything to eat in your refrigerator. It was me that had took you grocery shopping, and you wouldn't be anywhere. You wouldn't have had anything to eat that month if it wasn't for... No, fuck that. If getting help from you results in you throwing it back in my face, you know what? I'll be all right. I'll figure something out. Some way or another, I'll be all right. Okay? So, I mean, this whole post from Vickie Guerrero just comes off extremely, extremely juvenile and very jaded, as well as two-faced. Now, Shaw Guerrero had some stuff to say. She actually did come to the defense of Sherilyn. And here's what she had to say in regards to it. I am deeply saddened. She posted this on social media, by the way. I am deeply saddened at the state of my family has been in for years. When my sister stated what happened on the cruise was true. She did get sexually assaulted by my stepfather. Sexual assault is never okay, and she has every right to talk about it. Was it rape? No. But it was unwanted touching, which is absolutely unacceptable and traumatizing. This incident tore an even deeper wedge into our family that what was there before. Let me reread that again. That sounds kind of funky the way I'm reading it as she said it. This incident tore an even deeper wedge into our family than what was there before. My mother and sister have had a deeply tumultuous relationship for years. Same with my sister and I. After this incident on the cruise, we all went into various forms of therapy in order to heal. My sister has led the public to believe we abandoned her after the sexual assault, which is not true. The family went into various forms of therapy, and Mom and Chris helped Sherilyn get on her feet again by helping her financially, as they have done for Sherilyn since she was 22. Does this solve the wounds? Absolutely not. But she was not abandoned after this incident. Family or not, I have refused people in my life who do not treat me with respect. I have refused to continue my role in my family where I play peacekeeper, especially when I am states away and can't referee properly. Quick sidebar, not to mention, when you're in the middle of some stuff like that, just the toxicity level alone, you know, you're already dealing with your own problems, no matter how small, you know, they may be. You're already dealing with your own plate of stuff. But to then have a family member and or a friend just be unloading a whole bunch of stuff onto you as well. Trust me when I say this from personal experience, eventually you get to a tipping point where you say, I just can't deal with this anymore. And you always hear me say on the show, if you've been listening long enough, I always say, if it's not about positivity, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So anything that is toxic, anything that has to do with negativity, you know, if it's not about putting yourself in a better position spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, like, I don't want to have nothing to do with it, right? So I totally get where Shaw Guerrero is coming from here. I've had relationships, some that went as far back, relationships/friendships that went as far back as junior high, high school. You know, I just decided, you know what, I'm done. Because, you know, it's like, seems like nothing's changing over here. I am, but it kind of seems like, these people are stuck over here in this time frame or whatever. And you know what? Whatever, some people got to move at their own respected pace. Bless them. Wish them nothing but the best. But I'm over here. I got to keep on. I got my own stuff I got to deal with. I can't be bombarded with, right? So I get where Shaw is coming from here. Sherilyn, I will once again offer to do therapy with you so we can sort out our relationship. Mom has offered the same these past years. As we all know, we need a professional to be in the room if we are going to talk to each other. You have never stepped forward to want to mend the relationship or take us up on therapy, despite us saying we will take care of the details and finances. Sherilyn, what happened to you was not okay. What happened on that cruise tore an even deeper wedge into our family. But the reason why we all don't talk is a deep well of tangled hurt and complication that I can barely understand, let alone the fans that think they know our family. Yeah, I totally get that. Family, they've seen all these Guerreros growing up, and they feel some form of because of what they see on television, pales in comparison. I get it. I'm so sad that we are dealing with all of this hurt publicly now. I hope the family that is supporting you will hold your hand and give you the support you need. That family that most likely she's referring to is Chavo Guerrero's side of the family and all that, because Chavo Guerrero, he did put a statement out there basically backing up Sherilyn Guerrero, offering his support and all that. So I would imagine she is alluding to that respected side of the family. That family does not include me due to the verbal and emotional abuse you have subjected me to over many years. My boundaries matter just as yours do, and until you agree to meet with a therapist to work this out, then we will continue to heal separately. I hope you find healing. So, that's where, kudos to Shaw Guerrero for doing what Vicki could not do. Put out a somewhat of a statement a little bit similar to that. I mean, hell, you could maybe had left out the stuff about, actually, you know what? I have no problem whatsoever. I thought I was looking at something particularly that didn't quite sound, but you know what? No, I'm doubling down. I don't have any issue with what Shaw Guerrero had said. This is actually the statement that I wish to some extent Vicki had put out, right? Thank God for Shaw Guerrero being the fucking adult and, really addressing this. And she's absolutely right. It's freaking sad that this had to be all put out there publicly, and it's so funny because, well, it's not funny, but kind of ironic that shortly after all of this went down, you go on the AEW site, you look at the roster page and everything, and they removed Vickie Guerrero from the roster page. Now, granted, she's supposed to be wrapping up with the company this summer. I believe it's right around June/July. She's supposed to be done with the company and everything. But I guess AEW said, nah, you know what? We want as much distance from this as humanly possible. Yeah, we're good. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if coming from out of this, I wouldn't be surprised if before the end of April, we might hear that Vickie Guerrero was granted an early release. I would not be surprised if we were to hear that, because this is just the toxicity level of this, just all-time high. Seriously, it's just at an all-time high. And I would imagine that, let's see, whenever AEW, when's their next pay-per-view? I'm trying to think what month is their next pay-per-view, because I know between that, the multiple media appearances that Tony Khan likes to do on a weekly basis, I would imagine, to my point, this is something that's definitely going to be brought up. And it's going to be interesting to see how Tony Khan maneuvers his way, what is obviously over a pretty sensitive topic to tackle and everything, right? So I'm very curious to see how he navigates those waters, if he's going to take it head on or if he's going to pivot and, deflect and not answering questions about obviously what's going on here. But they're doing the right thing by removing her profile, but I would say just get that woman moving along, put as much distance as possible between themselves and her. It's very sad that you have this going on. It really, really is. And sincerely, I wish the family nothing but the absolute best. I really hope that healing can come to them. I hate when stuff like this is made public. I mean, sure, for those in the podcasting world like myself that really mean well and can definitely relate and can really go there, yeah, it's, I know there's many other people that's kind of in a similar situation of what we just talked about here, or something similar. We all can relate to this to a certain degree and everything. And so when you have that experience, it's an uncomfortable conversation or topic to have to bring up. But when you're able to do it with respect and dignity, looking at all sides, looking at the totality of everything, right? There's a lot that can be brought up as far as, hey, was Vicki right to continue to be with this man that did what they did to her daughter? And, because she's basically choosing love over her own family, right? Love over her own blood, okay? There's so many things that you can bring up on this one. And then just the way she pretty much assassinated her daughter by essentially saying, "You're dead to me." I mean, that sounds like some Goodfellas type of crap. When Ray Liotta goes to Paulie and he needs some help, he's looking for some money, and Paulie pretty much gives him a wad of cash and says, "Now I have to turn my back on you. All right, you're dead to me. You're no longer part of this family. We don't know you anymore. The word is now out," right? It's like, that's it. We're done with you. You are exiled, right? That is like the worst, you feel me? So for all necessary parties involved, I really hope that they can in due time. Life is too short, man. Tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And I really hope that from all of this comes some type of positivity in the form of, okay, let's all try to work on this together. And but that's a lot. That is a lot. Just the totality of it, losing your father at such a young age, and then when it counted the most and you needed to rely on the other parent that's still among the living, you really needed to rely on them now more than ever, and they essentially are not there to help you cope, to help you navigate, those troubled waters and everything. And then eventually a new man comes into the picture, and you still haven't properly healed from prior, right? So that puts you on a very dangerous path that obviously went unchecked. And then to just, right, it's just one thing after the other. And if this isn't nipped in the bud very, very soon, there's going to be, trust me, I know from personal experience, directly with my own respective family and indirectly, trust me, if this doesn't get nipped in the bud very soon, there's going to be some dire fucking consequences. And I'm going to leave it at that. So, Godspeed to the Guerrero family. So, that'll do it for that. A little bit of a lighter note as far as some quick programming notes. So look, the card for this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, it is looking pretty good. I gotta say, first off, one match looked like it was announced maybe earlier tonight, but it looks like we've got freaking Keith Lee and one-on-one action against Chris Jericho. This is so freaking random, just out of nowhere. Keith Lee taking on Chris Jericho. We've got Darby Allin facing Swerve Strickland. Meanwhile, for the AEW International Championship, Orange Cassidy's defending against Buddy Matthews. And we've got tag team action as Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli take on Michael Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler. We've got some more stuff that's going to be happening as well. So, that's pretty good. So, we're definitely going to be back this Wednesday, August 12th, 2023, covering AEW Dynamite Fallout. Get into some AEW news, other wrestling little tidbits, and more. Meanwhile, I want you guys to be kind and rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. If it's your first time accessing the show, be it you're checking out the webcast for on demand or you're listening to the audio podcast, appreciate the love. Go that extra mile. Make sure on top of subscribing, you also leave those ratings and reviews. Helps us out a ton. Episodes available for you guys wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR Show. Shout out to some of our sponsors. Love working with these guys. Shout out to our good friends over at ladycaffeine.com. If you guys are looking for some of the best coffee that's out there, I'm not talking about that imitation coffee where you just add some water and boom, I'm talking about real coffee, from blends to beans. Man, I mean, these guys, ladycaffeine.com, they got it all. Check them out. Now, when you're spelling that, don't spell it the traditional caffeine way. You want to spell it Lady, Lady, caffeine, Caffine, ladycaffeine.com. From blends, beans, espresso, flavored, more. They got the hookup, man. They've got chocolate hazelnut. They've got French vanilla, gourmet donut shop, mocha, whiskey barrel aged, and that's just for starters. So check them out. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitter at Lady Caffeine. Also got to give a shout out to the good folks over at PassiveIncomeAdvisory.com. They've got a great online course called Investing Made Easy. Teaches beginners how to invest on the stock market. Check them out. This ain't no bullshit, not no get rich quick scheme, none of that. Just straight up strategies to help generate income through smart investments. Learn more by visiting PassiveIncomeAdvisory.com. Also, we got a new sponsor I want to tell you guys about. So shout out to you guys that are proprietors out there, business owners and all that, because there is one sponsor I want to tell you guys about. Because it's tax time and all that, So shout out to you business owners out there. Looks like the IRS may owe you money. Did you know that your business may qualify for the Employee Retention Tax Credit, also known as the ERTC? Some businesses qualify for the ERTC even if they received the PPP. If you're a business owner with 3 to 500 W-2 employees, you may qualify for the ERTC for up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. Don't miss out. Apply now for the ERTC by visiting ERTC.com. That's ERTC.com. One more time, ERTC.com. Look into that, all right? So that is going to do it. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go around, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll catch you guys Wednesday night, 10:05 p.m. Eastern, after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Take care, y'all. Peace.